Today, we're going to talk about obsession. Obsession always beats talent, right? But I kind of wanted to start off this video. Let's just see what the Google Dictionary defines obsession as. So, if you look up on Safari, obsession definition, the definition in Safari is an obsession is a persistent and uncontrollable preoccupation with a thought, idea, impulse, or image that is intrusive and often leads to significant distress or anxiety. It can be a mental concept itself or the state of being dominated by such a thought, where the individual feels a loss of control over their focus. And honestly, me personally, I'm going to say I don't like that definition. I think obsession, when I think of obsession, I think of like being so driven to accomplish something that you're gonna do whatever it fucking takes. You don't care. Like, if you're gonna miss hanging out with your friends, that's okay. If you're gonna miss out on that McDonald's lunch with the rest of your friends, that's okay. If you're gonna have to spend a whole day meal prepping for the entire week just so you can be on track with your goals, eat all your meals, then that's okay. If you got to go to the gym at 4 in the morning and be up till 11 at night, that's okay, because it's what it's going to take. That's what I think obsession is. When I think of obsession is being willing to do whatever it takes to accomplish a task or a goal. So for me personally, with bodybuilding, it's like I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the best I can at bodybuilding, right? And obsession, a lot of times people like to bring in like genetics and talent. Obviously, maybe middle school, you're getting into football and there's somebody who's way better at fucking being a wide receiver than you. It's like they don't really put in that hard of work at practice, they don't really give two shits, but they're always going to be starting. They catch the ball. It's just like the ball hits their hand and they ain't going to drop it. Maybe they can truck some motherfuckers over. They got size and muscle and athleticism on you. If you are just obsessed with football, you want to be a better receiver. If you go in there every single day with the mentality of getting better, you're putting in work off the field, In the morning, before school, you're going into the gym and you're fucking putting in football workouts. You're eating all the meals, you're getting the good sleep, you're busting your ass at practice. Maybe not tomorrow you're going to be better than that naturally talented wide receiver, but maybe 3 months from now you're going to be starting over him because you've got the obsession to be an amazing football wide receiver, and they don't. They just got the talent. And that was always an idea I had in my head in high school. I was never the greatest at sports, but no matter the sport, I was obsessed with it. Wrestling, I wasn't that good at it, but I was obsessed with it. And it was that obsession that fueled me and was able to allow me to wrestle close matches with guys who were just fucking amazing at wrestling. I was no good wrestler, and I was decent, right? But it was just, what made me good was my obsession with the sport, and it sucked, sometimes I would wrestle really well, but it was like I could wrestle the same level as people way above me and keep matches close. But if I wrestled someone that was worse than me, sometimes I would wrestle with them, and that was just kind of a bad mentality there. But then when I'd wrestle dude fucking, dude's been wrestling since he was fucking 6 years old, 2-time state champ. Sometimes I'd be able to wrestle with those dudes because I'd go into the match with the mentality of, I'm just going to shoot a takedown on him. I'm going to shoot a takedown and I'm going to clinch on for dear life. And I'm not going to stop being persistent with them, trying to take them down until I get that takedown. It was just the obsession that they may be more athletic than me. They may be more talented than me. Maybe they don't give two shits about wrestling. Maybe they just do it because they're really good about it, And on the weekends, they're drinking and smoking and partying. And at the end of the day, they're going to be a better wrestler than me. But I'm going to put in enough obsession to when I can be a better wrestler than them. And that's how I am with bodybuilding now. It's like every day I'm going into the gym, I'm like, obviously there's people out there my age, huger than me. People out there fucking 2 years younger than me, 16 years old, and they would dwarf me. And at the end of the day, that sucks. And that's just a genetics thing, Obviously, it goes back to some people can eat whatever the fuck they want. They can go into the gym 2 to 3 times a week, put in minimum effort, and they're going to grow. And they're going to respond well. But you know, that only lasts for so long. And eventually, after you kind of stop growing, a lot of those guys, they kind of just give up because they're like, oh, I'm not growing anymore. This sucks. You know, I'm not having fun. But for me, I live off of that shit. You know, when I first got into the gym around the same age that like the rest of my friends were, they all gave up, you know. They were first going to the gym and they were seeing gains right away. And you know, I've always been a slow gainer, you know. I've never like gained muscle super fast. I didn't just go into the gym and it clicked like a fucking light bulb. I wasn't just screwing in a light bulb and then gains through the roof and then the light bulb kind of started to die a little and I just had to slowly twist it. You know, I was always slowly twisting the light bulb trying to gain, always finding new shit. And all my friends, it was like they just had to do a quarter turn and then the light flicked back on, but then eventually it came loose and they needed a crescent wrench to fucking finish tightening off the light bulb. And I know you obviously can just hand tighten a light bulb and it'll turn on. I'm just saying, like a crescent wrench, like, you know, obviously, of course, when you first get into the gym, your gains are just through the roof. But then after a while, that light bulb kind of comes loose and it's like, it's not just a hand tightening anymore. You need a wrench, you know, it's a lot slower. It takes a lot more power and mentality to finish going through with this. So my friends stopped seeing gains and just people I knew and met in the gym and they kind of gave up on it, got inconsistent, and I stuck with it. And that's what's helped me the most is obviously I've never been a very fast gainer. There's tons of people out there with better genetics than me, but all that's going to matter at the end of the day is that I'm more obsessed, right? I'm more obsessed with getting in all the meals. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be the best I can be. I'm going to do whatever it takes for the next 15, 20 years I can compete to get on that Olympia stage one day. You know, even if it takes me 6-8 years to get an IFBB Pro card, I'm going to keep fucking chasing until I get that IFBB Pro card because I'm obsessed. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to do it, you know. I don't care if I got to start fucking getting 5 hours of sleep because I got to spend longer in the gym, you know. Maybe I spend 2 hours now. Maybe I got to start spending fucking 3.5 hours and I get an hour and a half less of sleep. I don't give a shit. If that's what I got to do to reach my goals, that's what I'm going to do. If I fucking hate my life because I'm not getting much sleep, I don't give a shit because I'm obsessed. So in my mind, I think this is what I got to do to be the best at what I got to do. So now flipping the perspective onto you guys, I want you guys to find something to be obsessed with. And just think, you know, it doesn't even have to do with bodybuilding. You might have just clicked on this video and you don't give two shits about bodybuilding. Maybe you fucking love soccer, right? Maybe you're not the world's best soccer player. You know, you play with a lot of other guys who start over you and they're just better than you, not because they're obsessed, you know, they're just really talented, been doing it since a young age, and maybe they're drinking and smoking on the weekends, going to partying. And I know that's cliche, but that's how it is a lot of the time. Like, those super good fucking athletes don't have to give two shits or try much. They're just naturally good. And it sucks, you know, that's just the way of life. Sometimes you're not going to be as talented as someone, and that's okay, because in the end, obsession is going to beat talent every single fucking time. You just got to be able to fuel your passion with that obsession, guys. You have to be obsessed with it. If you want to play soccer in college, maybe you're not the best, but you're a freshman, you're really into it, fucking start going and practicing soccer every day. Go and get morning lifts in. Maybe get cardio during fucking lunch or a block at school. Go to your soccer practice. Bust your fucking ass. Eat healthy meals. Make sure they're nutritional meals. Try and fuel your fucking passion for soccer. You gotta be obsessed, right? I mean, it's just like, fuck, dude. All the time I see these people like come into the gym. They've got fucking amazing potential. Like, they like hardly touch a dumbbell and they just fucking grow. Or like, they've never touched a dumbbell before, and I'm kind of looking at their physique and I'm like, dude, like, you got the tiny waist, you got the wide shoulders, you've like got nice bicep and tricep insertions, you've already got nice legs, like, you've got a pretty wide back. And I'm like, you don't even like ever lift. I'm like, if you just got like consistent in the gym, started eating good meals, you know, you would fucking grow exponentially. You would be amazing at this. But the harsh truth at the end of the day is most people don't have that obsession to fuel them. Most people don't have that discipline. And at the end of the day, obsession, it means a lot, you know. You can be better than anyone at anything as long as you're more obsessed than them. If somebody is like partially obsessed with something, you know. I could be partially obsessed with the gym, you know. Go in, fucking train my ass off every day, get a good 8 to 10 hours of sleep, come in the next day and just kind of half-ass it. I only feel like doing a few sets of triceps today. I see people go into the gym all the time, you know. Sometimes you see them go in and it's like, damn, they're working their ass off. And then sometimes you see them come in and they're like, do a few sets of bench press, kind of doom scroll on their phone on the bench, do a few dumbbell curls and a few tricep push downs, and then they're out of there. And you're like, what the fuck? They were only here for 20 minutes. Like, they were just busting their ass yesterday. It makes you like feel like kind of almost want to go up to them and be like, dude, like, you got potential, and like, just keep coming in here and busting your ass. But some people, it's just hard to turn on that switch for them. They don't necessarily have the wants or the needs to be great at something. They're okay with being mediocre. And for me, it's like, I'm so obsessed and I just want to be great, you know? I want to be an influence on people. And when I think about why I'm so obsessed, it's like the thought that I could live the rest of my life doing something I love. Why would I not want to do that? Why would I not want to turn my obsession into a fucking way to make money, you know? When I think about it, it's like every day I wake up for work, all I can think to myself is, man, I can't wait to make it one day so that I never have to wake up this early for work again. That's all I can ever think about. That's all I think about, is because I'm so fucking driven on making it. I am so driven on becoming a professional bodybuilder. I'm so driven on becoming a fitness influencer because that's all I want to do. That's all that's on my mind 24/7. It's like clockwork. Every single morning I wake up, all I think about is, man, I can't wait to just make a living off bodybuilding one day. I can't wait to not have to fucking wake up this early, shower, go to work, fucking work a 10-hour day. I can't wait to one day be able to make a living off my passion. And obviously, a lot of people hear me say that and they make fun of me. I've even got friends, you know. I've got friends all the time, and I always tell my friends, I say, in 2 years, I'm not going to work a full-time job. And my friends always laugh at me. They say, you're not going to do that. You can't really do that. And at the end of the day, it just gives me more fuel to prove people wrong. I mean, it's not even just my friends I tell that. I tell you guys that. I tell adults that. I tell my parents that. I tell other adults that when they ask, like, what I want to do. They're like, are you going to work at Roadrunner forever? I'm like, no, in 2 years, I'm not going to work a full-time job. And they kind of laugh at me and giggle. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I'm going to be a professional bodybuilder. And they kind of laugh at me, maybe point. And they're like, that's not obtainable. And I'm like, okay, don't believe me. But in 2 years, when I do it, maybe it takes me longer than 2 years, but if I do it in 2 years and it's like I quit my job and people just see me around town and literally I'm just filming myself, going to the gym, going and getting groceries, traveling a little bit for sponsors and going to shows, you know, it's like, when that happens, are they going to be laughing at me, pointing at me, you know? I'm the laugh stock of a lot of people, you know? I know I get made fun of by a lot of people. I know a lot of people hate on my videos. They hate on my TikToks, my Instagrams. They call it corny. They call it stupid. They call me skinny. I don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm so driven by obsession. I know that if I just give this my all, I'm going to take something out of it, right? I know I'm going to be successful. I know I can make something out of this. I know I can influence other people. I know I can live the rest of my life off of this, right? And that's just because I'm so obsessed with making something out of this and not spending the rest of my life in a fucking 7 to 5 job. I'm going to chase this, and I'm going to chase it until I make it, and I know I'm going to make it. I give myself a 2-year time span. Obviously, maybe it's longer than 2 years. Maybe it's shorter. Maybe fucking tomorrow, out of nowhere, I fucking blew up. I'm getting hit up by sponsors. Obviously, probably won't happen tomorrow, but you never know what's going to happen with YouTube. And that's why I'm consistent, is it's like, I want to show everybody how dedicated I am to this shit. Obviously, I could just upload once a month, kind of just do a little update on how things are going, but I don't want to do that. I want to, here in a month, be able to look at all my videos from, 6 months ago and be like, wow, like, holy shit, I've grown a lot. That's what I want to be able to do. And I want other people to look at like a video now and then go back to like 6 months ago and be like, holy shit, this kid's doing something right. Like, he's fucking growing like no other. He's looking huge compared to then. I want people to look at that and be like, man, if he could do that, I can do that. I want to feel other people's obsession as well. I don't want to be the only person obsessed. I want other people to share the same obsession with me. I want to communicate with others who got that same passion and obsession as me. And obviously, I'm going to make it somewhere as long as I'm fueled by obsession and passion, guys. And you guys got to be fueled by obsession and passion. And you're going to make something out of it, right? You know? At the end of the day, guys, it just comes down to how badly do you want it, you know? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be that fucking soccer player, or football player, or fucking basketball, or even bodybuilder? Or maybe you just want to be a really good artist, you know? At the end of the day, it's going to come down to how bad do you want it? How much are you willing to give? And are you obsessed? That's all that matters, guys. Obsession beats talent every single day. That's it for today, guys. Just remember, stay obsessed. Don't listen to Google. Obsession is a fucking phenomenal thing. Obsession beats talent.